Sara Blakely, sorry. Sara taught a masterclass.com, which I signed up for, not just her class, but all the classes. Hers is one of the first I watched. It's amazing. I want to share just a few of the things I learned from Sara. Sara is the founder and CEO of Spanx, and she's a billionaire because of that effort. And it's Spanx with an X, not with a K. That's one of the things I learned also, is that you have to make your product stand out and be a little bit edgy, depending on your niche. But you have to have positive connotations that people associate with your name and your brand. As Sara discussed her history with Spanx, it's just an incredible journey. And a few of the takeaways that I got was, one is that she just did whatever was required. And I listened to an interview with Mark Lohr on Tom Bayou. He said the same thing, basically. Mark's was a little bit different. Mark said he backed himself into a corner and just forced himself to succeed. But it's really not just about taking action. It's about taking the action that's necessary. And I want to say necessary like 18 times in a row, because a lot of people just take action, but they don't take the thing that needs to be done. Both Sara and Mark, and I'm guessing all the great entrepreneurs and success leaders in different fields, they do what needs to be done. I mean, just say that to yourself 100 times. Like, I'll give you an example with Sara. She was working a full-time job, and she kept her job until Spanx was very successful. And that's lesson number one. She probably didn't want to keep her job. She probably wanted to put all of her time into Spanx, but she had the discipline to do what needed to be done. Example number two, she took her vacation week, her week of vacation from her job, and she went down to North Carolina in person, because people weren't returning their phone calls or whatever. In person, tends to be better because people remember you. But she faced a rejection after rejection, even when she went down in person. She basically had to beg people, and she accepted the first one that actually said they would take a flyer on her. Her words were something like to the effect, the person said, "Yeah, I'm going to back your crazy idea. I'm going to make you a crazy idea," or something like that. So Sara was not afraid of rejection. She was not afraid of taking her vacation week and flying down there. See, that's the big difference between most people. Most people just want to put half effort into it, or they want to try things, but they're not totally committed. Like, there's that famous joke about what's the difference between the chicken and the egg. I mean, the chicken and the pig when it comes to breakfast. The chicken is interested, but the pig is fully committed. I mean, it's actually another topic. I want to do this because I think we have too much cruelty to animals. I'm actually pretty much a vegetarian. I do occasionally eat chicken, but I think that we need to treat animals much more humanely, and I want to do a whole podcast on that when I can. But getting back to Sara, so she took her own vacation week. Now, another example was when she got her first big contract, I think it was Nordstrom or Bloomingdale's, I forget which came first. She actually went into the store every day for 8 hours a day and sold her own products. And she had meetings with all the staff, and she gave free giveaways. She didn't just count on the chain to sell her products. She made it happen herself. She did what was necessary. Another example, she got into arguments with her suppliers over exactly how the stitching had to be done. I mean, not to alienate them, but just to make sure that the product was always the quality. Sara always, I'm not swearing, just, emphasizing, that Sara always did what needed to be done. Here's another example. Sara had a vision in her head that Oprah was going to be her mentor. And I think visions and vision boards, I don't know if she used a vision board or not, but are critical because they kind of drive us forward, and our unconscious basically propels us to do things and arrive in circumstances, the law of attraction, in terms of what we visualize. But Sara sent actually Oprah some sample products, and it turned into Oprah's one of her favorite things, and Oprah interviewed her, and then the company really took off at that point. So Sara was continually just doing what needed to be done. And I think that, Sara's almost like my Oprah Winfrey. Like, I envision, working with Sara potentially, hopefully soon, because I consider myself also like an incredible innovator, just like Sara, and I think great minds like to work together. But be that as it may, thank you, Sara, for incredible masterclass. I even see like she does like. The other thing is that her masterclass was above and beyond. I noticed the same thing with Ron Howard. Like everybody that does a masterclass does a good job. Obviously, there wouldn't be that, but it's kind of like who are the elite of the elite? Like you have the 99%, the 1%. You know, if you want to characterize it that way, which I don't like to do all the time because I think there's better ways of characterizing it. But if you have the 1%, and then who are the 1% of the 1%? Sara Blakely and Ron Howard, I think, are the 1% of the 1%, because when you listen to their masterclass, it's head and shoulders above the masterclasses even of the other world-leading experts. And in Ron's case, I think it's just because it's really just kind of like an imperceptible weaving together of all his things and explaining it in a way that produces incredible value. For Sara, it's similar to that, but I think it's also related to more specifics of exactly what she did and the mindset of how she did it. Like, for example, in her masterclass, Sara does examples like she interviewed a couple of people to explain like kind of like her thought process. And you could just see when she interviewed people that she was kind of like almost like selfless, but giving a lot of guidance. Just like how she approached problems was kind of like bringing out the best in people, but also holding them to a high standard. And her masterclass is amazing.